Hey YouTube, this is David. Um, Here to talk about trucking in general. Um, it's just to basically give you an idea of what's going on with the industry and just in general. If you're thinking about becoming a trucker, I've done it. This is my second time doing it in my life. My first time, I was exactly 21, around the year 2000, and the company that I trucked for was called not Swift. Oh, it was so back. The one was Dick Simon. Yeah, Dick Simon, and they mainly did refrigerated. It was pretty cool. We actually did like 14 hours a day, and I remember my checks being like around $700 a week. But then I just want you to keep this in mind. This is in year 2000, and I was over the road. At first, yeah, it was adventurous, as in like you get to see different states and different cities and how warehouses operate all over the country. Yeah, that can be kind of cool. But I did it for 6 months, and then shortly after 6 months, um, I went into I went into the service, and I did about 10 and a half years of the service. But that was, and the reason why I say that, because that was my break in trucking. And then as soon as I got out, which was in August 2012, I did security for 8 months, and then I went back to trucking because I wanted to try to see if there was any more financial advantages. Okay, so I went with my first company. Um, I don't want to say their name because they may be like, "Oh, you're speaking bad about us" or whatever, or don't have the right to speak about them. But they begin with the R, and they're red. But it was the best. It was the best trucking company choice at that time. But they begin with the R. So they paid about 38 cents per mile and all that good stuff. The main thing that you got to be careful of is your backing, of course. Do the goal, which is get out and look. If your gut is telling you that, hey, you're not too sure about something, it's all right. Get out and look. It's better to get out and look 10 times and not be sure than to be like, hey, I think I'm sure, and you hit something. It'll kind of mess up your pay because you gotta take pictures and call safety, and everybody does an investigation. And if they're doing that, you're not driving. If you're not driving, you're not making money, because over the road is pendant on your wheels turning. Is that's what they say. So yeah, so with this company, I was mainly doing dry van. Dry van, it mainly takes. Well, I'm from the southeast area, like Florida. The closest big city is Jacksonville, Florida. I'm in Orange Park, but it's like right next to Jacksonville. But most people just say Jacksonville, probably. But anyway, so dry goods, and that's more of like your warehouse items, like for grocery stores and things like that. Well, the main thing about dry is it's in a dry box 53-foot van. And they mainly like to send you from the south to the north, north to the south, and maybe west as far as like Ohio and on down. But holding the wheel, that's ooh, that's a small part of trucking. You get to see like how people do business in different parts and areas of the country, and I guess if for any reason you think you want to relocate to different parts or areas of the country, you at least get a first-hand experience. So I guess that'll be kind of valuable for that, as to say. Let's see. But yeah, they mainly want to try to run you legal, because I guess back in the day between the 80s and 90s, yeah, you did have paper logs, and people, they'll just ooh. They say they were doing one thing, but they were doing something different, which the different was driving more instead of resting and being in sleeper berth or off duty. So they came up with what they called the Qualcomm. It was just to try to be in compliance with DOT regulations and standards. And now they're going from that to PeopleNet. Now, what it is with the PeopleNet is real time. What I mean by real time, you can't like manipulate your log, as in like logging off and putting yourself off duty and just driving. No, the PeopleNet is smart people. So with the PeopleNet, they actually know how far you're driving, and well, they used to do cent per mile, I would say around 2013, but now a lot of companies are doing like percentage of the load. And oh yeah. Also now too, they're doing this thing called per diem. Like I went to this one company, yeah, and they're called KNIGHT. I'm sure you can spell. And the way they offered it to me, well, that wasn't percentage back then. This was back to 2014. But it was like 25 cents per mile, and then an additional 12 cents was per diem. What it did, it gave the companies a tax advantage of saying that they didn't pay you that much, and so for their purposes, it gave them an advantage, I guess, for like taxes that they have to collect. They didn't have to collect as much because the 12 cent per mile was your per diem, because if you're over the road, you got to feed yourself, and you got to buy yourself certain things like maybe boots, flashlights, and things like that and whatnot. I mean, but what it does, it splits up your pay. Like, let's say if you made $800 that week, 600 will be like your actual pay, and then the other 200 will be like the per diem. It makes you look broke on paper. So if you're trying to do things like qualify for a home, or let's say God forbid, somehow, some reason you get hurt, you're only going to get judged on the $600, not the whole 800 that you receive, even though the 12 cent was like in per diem. So that's yeah. Trucking is America. You get this, but you can't have that. It's a weird relationship of a catch-22, I would say. Yeah, it's a catch-22, and you're just hoping to try to position yourself on the other side of the catch-22. Just saying. Excuse me. So you have that going on, and I mean, it is adventurous, but it can be boring, and it's very, very lonely. Very lonely. Well, like certain things that you may take for granted, like going to kids' birthdays or wife's birthdays and family birthdays. When you're usually in town or you work a job in town, you usually take it for granted because you're there. But it seems like, when you choose a profession like that, and especially over the road, that's when everybody wants to party. That's when everybody wants to do something. Like, hey man, you missed out, man. Oh man, like, what were you doing? You're over the road. Oh yeah, speaking about that also too, you also have what they call a 34-hour reset. So when you get close to using up your 70 hours, then you have to find somewhere, and you want to find somewhere where they got all kinds of facilities like dining and shower and maybe a nearby place for entertainment or what have you. You just want to keep that in mind when you're getting close to your 70 hours, because what happens is you have to spend 34 hours off duty, so your hours can reset. And yeah, that's cool that you get to be declared off duty, but you're off duty away from home. And oh man, over the road pay and driving legitimately, if the sun and the moon and the stars all line together, you can legitimately make about $850. That's meaning like you get to your places on time, and the people and the majority of what you're hauling is like a drop and hook. What a drop and hook is, you go to the place and you drop off the full trailer and you leave with an empty trailer, going to your next destination for getting loaded. Or, well, you can even have where you have a dock-in situation, but if they're good about getting you in and out all week long, every place that you go to, like getting you in and out within the hour, hey, that's pretty good. And because like I say, as long as your wheels are turning, you're making money, and you're trying to get as many trips as possible before the cutoff. That's another key thing too. Get as many trips as you can before the pay cutoff date of your organization, what have you. For some people, it could be a Friday. Some people, it could be a Thursday. But if you pack so many trips in as possible, yeah, that just increases your pay. So we talked about that in general. We talked about the loneliness. Oh yeah. On your on your 34 hour. Um, you may get a chance to talk to a lot of truck drivers and their experiences. I would say to you that you want to treat those experiences as golden, because if they're telling you some certain things through their experiences, you may not have to experience some of the bad things, and which a lot of drivers have kind of told me, like keys and ins and out, like being a, oh yeah. I know some of y'all may be like, hey, I want to be a owner operator. I want to own my own rig. Ooh. I'm not gonna tell you to or not to, but I was at least a lease operator, and I did containers. This was around 2014. Well, the containers, it may have been lucrative maybe back in the 90s and early so forth, because the dollar was on the highest pedestal of being the world reserve currency, and it took a lot of people's other dollars to make up our $1, but it's an inverse relationship. So with that inverse relationship, it's kind of passed down to everybody. So you want to keep that in mind, especially the owner operator or lease operator. Because most of your owner operators have told me, like, if you can get $2 per mile for your load, hey, that's pretty darn good. But lowest accepting should be like maybe 160, 150, but mainly 160. My situation was again, we got that. Well, I think I'm gonna call it the evil word, percentage. I think that word is evil, and it's deceptive. Because percentage of what? Okay, somebody has a pie, and okay, you want a piece of the pie, and they say, okay, we're gonna give you a percentage of the pie. Okay, oh, what percentage? Are we talking 10%? Are we talking 50%? Are we talking 90%? So me and the guys, once we got started, as lease operators, doing our loads, we figured out what our percentage was. So it was it was 75%. So what we broke that down to, and they were giving fuel surcharge also too back then. I don't know if they're doing that now. So, oh man, it's so weird. But we figured out that we were getting 89 cents for line haul. Okay? 89 cents for the line haul, and 38 cents for the fuel surcharge. From experiencing it and doing it, you are paying to work. Well, the reason why I say that is because, and I even got the cheapest truck in the yard. They sent us up to, well, it was called Quality, but it's really Celadon. And we would pick one of their used trucks, and I picked the cheapest one that I could find. The payment for the truck was about $375, and my insurance was about $350, and then You got the taxes, and road taxes. So the thing is, you have to pull in so much of an amount of oh yeah, you're paying for that gas. Who almost left that out? You're paying for that gas. So you have to cover your immediate expenses, such as I've described earlier, and then you get your money. And where they're getting over on people with that and dealing with IRS issues, okay, it may say you may gross like $10,000 or something like that, but out of that you only made like maybe 1,100. Well, I know it may be a horrible example, but even though you may have only made 1,100, what I mean by making 1,100, you took and put in your pocket 1,100. The IRS wants to look at you for that gross 10,000. That's the way that they're going to be looking at you. And to me, unless you're a tax wizard, or an accountant wizard, God bless you, but that's not a position of offense. Now, if I'm getting judged for like 10,000, I need to get at least 7. Just saying. And it's a moving math too. Say your truck break down. Ooh, man, I would not like to be you. Because then you go in the hole. And then when you go in the hole has to be satisfied first. Meaning that you're behind on truck lease payments and your taxes. So you could be driving for like 2 weeks trying to satisfy the hole for free, and then you get paid, but at the rate of 89 cents per mile and 38 cent fuel surcharge. That's really about $1.25. And I forget how the formula goes, but if you're an owner or a lease operator, you need to $1 occupies so much of operation of the truck, and then after that $1, that's kind of what you're getting. You're skimming on, you're trying to use just enough fuel for your trips. And let's say your cutoff is Friday, and on Friday you're trying to ride on fumes as much as you legitimately possibly can, because again, you're paying for that fuel. So better make good use of it. But over the road, it may be for some people, some may like it, some may love it, some may hate it. Don't know. You got to figure out what type you are. But for me myself, I did over the road just to get my experience. And after I got my experience, I went back home. Now, it's also a trap in that too. A lot of these companies know that you want to come back home. Sometimes you'll get so desperate and so weird, you'll try certain companies because they say they'll get you back home. Well, not really so much as back home, but you'll be in a day cab. Ooh man, I did that. I did that Swift for Walmart thing. Ooh man. Well, what it was in our area, it was stating that you'll get like about $19 or $21 an hour in the Craigslist ad, 33 cents per mile, and $10 a stop. So I was like, oh, okay. Out of all that, it seemed like I think I can make a okay living with that, with all those things that they added in there. So we went to orientation, I believe, and I think it was in Ocala, but it was somewhere in Central Florida. And then when I got back to the Jacksonville area, they're like, in the orientation, they're like, okay, now this is the pay package. You'll get the 33 cents per mile. Check. You'll get the $10 a stop, but the first stop is free. Okay, but check. Now that per hour, we ain't doing that. Now I should have noticed something. That first day, we had a lot of people at the orientation. But the second day, a lot of the old heads. What I mean by old heads, and I'm not saying it offensively, a lot of the like your old school guys, the guys that really know and understand the numbers, and if you switch up anything in numbers, they know you trying to jip or fool them. That's what I mean by the old heads. They didn't come back. But I was trying to be optimistic, and I was trying to be like, well, let's just see how it works. So my first week, and I was working about 70 hours. Man, my check was like about 300 or 400. So I was like, maybe I'm doing this wrong. So I tried it the second week. I'm like, man, this is crazy. And then I had to get advances. Oh my gosh, and it was crazy. I would do the advance on a Friday night, like after the pay period, so it could show up into the next pay period. And and even though it went into the next pay period, I would have to get into another advance because I took an advance on the previous pay period to cover what I advanced from that pay period. That's another way they kind of get you too. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that you may not need whatever you need for whatever reason, but if you can do without advances, try to do with advances. They will show up on your check, and it's like, hey, you did good, but you took out that advance. Most of them, they just allow you to advance yourself up today, like maybe $150. Yeah. But basically, over the road, it's not like Smokey and the Bandit out there. Your trucks are governed. Oh my God. It was around like maybe 64. Now a lot of these companies, they're doing it like 61. Oh man, you're gonna be driving all day, man. You're gonna be working all day. Cause see, if you were doing like 70 miles an hour, if for some reason you need something to drink, you could take your time and get something to drink, or use the bathroom effectively and get back in the truck and keep going. But 61, oh man, when you pull over, you're pissing in the jug. Now I haven't done it, but I've heard of some guys. They said that they even did a number 2 and in their truck. And I'm just like, if I gotta do a number 2 in the truck, hey, I'm doing the wrong thing. But some guys, they said some guys, they told me that they have, man. No. I'm not saying as in no shame, like they ghetto or whatever like that. But sometimes, nature calls it like that. You just gotta go along. Just gotta go along with nature, man. But for me, yeah, I did that, and then also too, another thing I want to encourage, just I mean, as much as you can, just get all your endorsements, because the more specialized type of trucking that you can do, the more that you can make yourself profitable. Because you got to think about it. Hauling peanut butter and water and boxes of cereal, you only gonna get so much out of it. I'm not saying that you don't drive it and bump and dock it safely. I'm not saying that. I'm not taking away from anybody's skills that they do that. But the thing is, the value of the load is only gonna pay so much, and they only gonna give only so much to you. Just saying. If you get hazmat, yeah, it's placards, and you can't go on what they call tunnels. Yeah, you can't do tunnels. It's just not a good idea. Well, not only is it not a good idea, but you won't be compliant with DOT. But they keep you rolling, they keep you moving. That's what hazmat will do for you. And with tanker, tanker is pretty cool too. And what I've learned about that game, see, because with dry and refrigerated, it's about getting so many miles, and dispatch may not be able to give you so many miles. Oh yeah, you got to keep this in mind. They already got a target idea of how much they want you to make. So you're not going to go out there and I'm super trucker. They already got an allotted certain amount of how much they want each driver to make. Keep that in mind. Okay, but back to the tanker. The tanker is not so much as about how many miles you do. The people, they just want their stuff. You go there, you drop it off, and then you go back to base. Well, I don't know about over the road tanker, but local tanker, that's what that game is about. You do like little milk runs, and then you come back and get reloaded. But at the end, the tanker goes back in the yard. That's what you want. Because, ooh, man, being a lease operator and being container, it's a reason why those trucks dealing with containers, aka intermodal, it's a reason why those tankers look like they're falling apart, because they're not paying that much to keep up your truck. But oh man, I was in a rail yard. Yeah, it was at Florida East Coast Railway, and this one guy, yeah, he had antifreeze leaking from his truck, man. That dude, that man, he wanted to cry, because he knew that he was gonna be hurting for like a month, whether it's for a good reason or whether it's for whatever reason. You don't want your truck down, especially if you're a lease operator or owner operator, because that compensation math, it moves against you instead of for you. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Yeah. And then also too, like, no matter what the pay package that they tell you, like, I will say, from experience, a owner operator or a lease operator, they need to be netting. What I mean is net, but it's putting in their pocket. It should be about, like, I would say, a minimum 1,500 per week, like 500 you put away, and then 1,000 for, your household and things you got to do and take care of. 2,000, hey, that's gravy. Hey, you rolling, you doing the dream. But from what I've seen and heard and experienced, being a lease operator, I would commonly make around 900. 15 would be like if the stars and everything was just right, everything went well that week. But man, sometimes I even low as 700. Now, if you're a company driver, that's okay. But as an owner, because you're responsible for a lot of things, man. Like whenever you go to the weigh station, oh my God. A lot of them guys, I'm sure, they're switching their gears and coming across them weigh scales. They're just crossing their fingers, and and they're just like, oh, please, please, please don't pull me to the side. Because they know if they get pulled to the side, because the thing is, they don't pay you enough to maintain your truck. That's the point where I'm getting at. And you run into where the companies, they want these loads to be taken to God knows where, but it's like, okay, that's cool, but I need to be compensated so I can do the job. Just saying. But it seems like that the business model is, you get a lease or owner operator, and you run them down, and him and the truck down, and I guess if he can't hang, you just get you another one. That's some of the sad realities with that game. And it's becoming thankless too. Oh yeah. I know over the road, and this is even some of the women drivers also too. Your health. I understand with smoking, and I'm working with myself on that also too. But your health, like blood pressure, diabetes, you want to try to eat the best way you can. And what I mean by eat the best way you can, the healthiest way you can. Like burgers every night, burgers and fries every night. Ooh, it's not the meal of champions out there. Because you got to think, you're sitting behind the wheel about 10 hours a day. And you just got burgers and fries and milkshake on your stomach. It's gonna spread all over your body. And you may not need it, or you don't think of yourself as your health as being that bad, but the doctor, he or she may look at you and be like, oh, you're too heavy to drive. Meaning, like, you need to have a sleep machine. You're like, a sleep machine. I'm fine, but the thing is, it's because of your BMI percentile, body mass index. So yeah, and I seen drivers out there too. Like, they'll do things like they'll be exercising, trying to take care of themselves, like walking around the trucking lot, and they just trying to do the best that they can. So I just want to try to encourage y'all to do the best that y'all can also too. Well, trying to stay in this game. Well, but the main thing I would say to you is try to do strategic trucking. What I mean by strategic trucking is the gears and the speed will stay the same, but how you position yourself, that's what's going to make the difference. And what I mean by that is you get your certain endorsements and extra endorsements. The gears will change, will change the same way every time, and the speed will be the same way every time. But if you position yourself like maybe, let's say, oversized, hauling fuel, hauling commodities that have a high value and importance, that'll kind of help you be in a better position to get at least a decent compensation. I mean, for some people, 700 a week, that may be nice and lovely to them, but you're more valuable than that, aren't you? At least I think I am. I've been playing with this thing about 4 years. So, and then also too, you got to keep in mind too that your body's aging, and you're getting older, and you want to make maximum use as much as you can for getting that CMV license, because you got that CMV license for a reason. It's to maybe either do better for yourself or for your family, and as you see more value in yourself and you think you deserve more, you earn, and you believe that you're supposed to get more, get those extra endorsements and extra skill sets so you can get according to how you value yourself. But I would say just let it come eventually over time. Like, if you're just starting trucking, we just want to make sure you can safely roll it down the street. Now, maybe after 6 months or after a year and you got a good feel of it, okay, now let's get fancy. We just, you just don't want to get stuck. That's all I'm meaning. You just don't want to get stuck in staying at one thing. You want to continuously grow. And when I started, I would go to either Save a Lot or Family Dollar, Dollar General, and my wife, she would drop me off there, and I would get about like maybe $50 worth of canned goods. Oh yeah, because a lot of the times you may back up to a dock, and you just gotta sit there. And you may be hungry, so and which is nutritious also too. If you got your canned good of beans, and you just get some hot sauce and whatever. I mean, it may not be Denny's, but it's at the same time it's kind of healthy and keeping you regular. Just saying, that's a free tip throwing on out there. because these truck stops, they're really designed to take your money from you. You're working hard for your money, they're trying to take it from you. Like a pizza's, a slice of pizza is like $5, man. And they try to sweeten the deal because they give you some extra wings with it. Ooh. But if you ate your canned goods, you know, and I know it seems primal or whatever, but if you eat your canned goods, you know, you're saving more money in your pocket. That's just more food for thought for you. Just saying. And maybe on your 34-hour reset or 2 times a week, you know, actually enjoy yourself. But you don't want to do that all the time. And I'm not picking on people that are like obese or anything like that, but it could get so bad that we're like, and you'll see it too. You'll be like, man, David, he told me about that. I seen a guy, I think I was in Indiana, and I was parked, and he got out of his truck, and like it looked at like coming from his truck to the middle of the front of his truck was like an obstacle. And then they got those yellow barricade posts, and I remember saying to myself, like, man, as soon as he get up there, he's gonna put his hand up there and stop for a break. And I'm like, hot dang it if he didn't. But I'm just trying to, like, you know, so it don't get that bad. And Lord bless that one trucker that I was just describing. Lord bless him. Lord have mercy. It's beginning to be a lot of women truckers out there now too. Yeah. But don't worry about them. I mean, just try to treat them with respect and dignity and all that good stuff. Because, like, you know, because every truck driver, you know, they may be able to tell you something about trucking. You may got guys that's out there 10 or 20 years or whatever, but you can always learn something new every day, whether it be from a male trucker or a woman trucker. I haven't done team. I mean, yeah, it does get lonely, as in you don't have nobody to talk to. But the thing about the team is, you may get paired with somebody that you may be incompatible with. Well, you may be compatible, but, like, you know, being in I would say 10x7 space, anybody could be incompatible if you spend enough time with them. But some people, they can manage to make that work. I mean, but for some people, they do that life and they like it and they love it. Well, just talking about over the road in general, but, you know, I'm a family man. It just ain't for me. But I'm doing a local thing, trying to get on with this gas company. Yeah, and then once I get on with this gas company, yeah, well, it's what they're offering is like a minimum guaranteed pay of like $850. That's not bad. That's not bad. $850, because you got to keep in mind, loads may not be available as like how they should be and supposed to be for you. But if you're getting a guaranteed minimum of $850, that's pretty good. Yeah, and you're just playing with a hose. Like my one friend, he was telling me, like, you may come in and just work only 6 hours, but, you know, you'll get a minimum guaranteed pay sounds like a good deal to me. But a lot of them tell me that that they don't make minimum guarantee. They more make like around 11 and 1200. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. How to tell if a company is a good company? Yeah, people say what they say, but I would say go by how they're saying it. If they're like, "Oh yeah, they take care of me, man. I'm good," and they're all relaxed, and it just feels like the sun is shining behind them, and birds chirping, and bright white clouds. I mean, they're actually telling the truth, but the guys that where they ain't making no money, like, man, shoot, I don't even know why I'm with these cats, man. It's all in how they say it, and well, it can be misleading, but also too, like, check out the cars in the parking lot. If they look like hoopties and they falling apart, that's gonna be your pay. Well, some people may drive a hoopty as in like a financial advantage, like a paid off car is a paid off car. I will never argue that. But if it's mainly like, I mean, what I mean by a hoopty, the guy's coming to work and it looks like he's about to cut, the car is about to cut off as soon as he puts on the brakes or something like that, and it's a miracle that he was able to get into the gate. Yeah. But if people are looking like they're looking forward to going to work and they're just like, hey, I'm just going to do my thing, get paid, hey, that may be the place where you want to be at. Yep. So, I mean, everybody's aim is different. My aim was just to get my experience over the road. I did about, I would say about a year over the road, and the rest have been local jobs. And I just been trying to look for the right local job that's fitting me. And so far, it's gonna be this gas gang. Yeah, the fuel. I can't wait to do that. Can't wait. Cause like in the day cab, I'm going home. I'm going home. So, sorry if I took up too much of your time there, YouTube, but I was just trying to give you just a general idea of what trucking's about, from my experience. And well, I'll try to go a little bit more in depth in some other videos, but I just wanted to, at least for this one, just talk about a generality of a little bit of everything. So when I start going into certain details, it's like, oh, okay, he started off with this, and okay, well, I kind of know where he's coming from. That's what I was trying to give you a gist of. All right. Hey, be safe. Good luck to you. And if you're driving on that ice, and if your guts are telling you, hey, you do not have to be a He-Man out there. If your guts is telling you like, hey, I can't do it, and the truck is sliding all over the place, just pull over. There are no cheerleaders on the other side. Just saying. All right, I'm out.